Ooh, that was good. Whoa, that was really good.
Oh, ASMR. Let's go. Yeah, got it. Welcome to Weddings Uncensored. I am Kaiel.
I am Allie. This is where we drink and talk and talk and drink.
It has been a minute, but we are here. Thank you for joining in. We will come out with a new episode almost every Tuesday.
We've taken a couple weeks off of recording, but we're back and we're here to talk about the good, the bad, and the downright crazy of this whole wedding industry. We got the intro.
Cheers.
Moderately correct. So
We'll get it better next week. I promise.
But that's okay. But we are talking about one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world today.
What's that, Allie?
Alcohol.
Oh my God.
I know.
We love alcohol.
Booze, baby, booze.
I mean, we do love alcohol. I don't know anything about alcohol.
I know. And this was very surprising to me because not knowing you like super well, but just knowing you enough, I was like, he's a little wild. He's crazy. He's got tattoos. Like, he's so like stereotypically, he takes his shirt off at weddings. Like, you just assume this guy knows how to fucking drink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
nope.
I don't. Not to say that I don't like alcohol.
Yeah.
It's just not, I've never leaned to like, what do you want to do? I want to go hit a bar up.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just not been a big part of your life. And it's been a big part of my life.
But part of the, I don't know if you guys have noticed, those of you watching, is every week that we record, Allie brings in a different drink.
Yep.
Now, you may not know exactly what the drink is just because sometimes it's in a glass. Today, we're drinking White Claw.
Yeah.
And black cherry. I got black cherry.
I got black cherry too. It's the best.
It is good.
It's the best flavor.
It is good. So Allie gets to teach me a little bit.
And you've
each week.
got to taste new things. I brought over
Yes.
some June Shine hard kombuchas. Shout out to June Shine, they're my people. And you like went through and drank all the different flavors in one night, and then gave me like a rating and review of each one. I feel like I'm helping. I feel like I'm educating you.
You are. No, it's good.
We've had champagne some weeks. We've done palomas. So yeah, it's a little.
Oh, the palomas.
That was a good
so
one.
Good.
I know.
I'm just learning. I really like the sweet drinks.
Shit. Because you're like a newbie, so you're like everyone at 21 likes to drink a sweet drink.
It's like I don't like black coffee. I want cream with my coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We need to mature your palate a little bit, Kyle. But we'll get there eventually.
Well,
the White Claws is not for the mature palate today.
It's delicious, though.
But it's delicious, and it's bubbly, so it means I might burp again. But we're going to get through it. But yes, we're talking about booze specifically in the way that it relates to weddings, not just what Allie likes to drink.
Or Kyle.
Or like, let's talk about what we want. Because alcohol is a big part of a lot of people's weddings. Mm-hmm. People like to drink. People like to get litty titty at weddings.
Litty titty.
And at a lot of weddings, you have to hire a bar vendor. So, it's just another kind of thing that you need to consider. Signature cocktails have become a really big thing, the bride and groom cocktail or whatever.
Yeah.
And wine at dinner. I mean, there's so many different aspects to alcohol and how it looks in your photos and like how that experience is. Champagne toasts have kind of been around forever, right? So even if like alcohol isn't you're the Kyle, not the Allie of the group, more than likely there will be some form of alcohol at your wedding, someone serving it, and there's a lot that goes along with that.
Yeah. I guess I know I'm going to come up with questions as we talk.
Yeah.
But one of the first ones that came to mind is, what would be the pros and cons of having an open bar versus whatever the other term is, not an open bar?
Like where someone has to pay for drinks?
Yeah. So, because I've seen both sides of the weddings and both can still be really fun, but I definitely know that the guests get really excited and really turned at the open bars. And sometimes the open bars is like only a couple hours and then it's not an open bar.
Yeah.
Like what are the pros and cons of that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot that goes into it, and I think it really differs a lot, like state by state too. So I'm going to speak more specifically to like California, but the open bar just means essentially that you are providing alcohol for your guests during those hours. Okay. Some venues, caterers will provide an open bar for a certain amount of hours. You can switch to a cash bar. or you can choose to keep it the whole time. I would say, a cash bar, I don't see it very often where someone's paying for their drinks the whole time.
Yeah.
I would see more like a limited option bar where maybe you don't have to pay for everything. But in general, I mean, I think people go to weddings for the open bar. They're pretty excited about it. So if you have the financial opportunity to provide an open bar, I think that's definitely the way to go. Even if you're not providing as fancy of alcohol, right? Like you're spending a little bit less. Yeah. Maybe you're not having signature cocktails. Maybe you're just doing beer and wine. There's lots of different options of what that looks like. But I think, making your guests pay for anything at the wedding, right? Yeah. Is kind of a lot. Like you're providing them an experience.
And then do you know, I mean, what is the general cost difference between open bar or a cash bar? Is that what we're calling it, a cash bar?
Well, I mean, if you're doing a cash bar, then you're not paying for any of it, right? Because they're paying.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So, or more than likely, you might have to still pay for the bartenders or something like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think I want to back up a little bit and just
go for it. I'm just flowing with the questions that come into mind.
I know.
Because I'm not going to be able to help with the content.
Yes.
Other than just asking the questions.
You can ask
I
all
just
the questions.
Don't know.
Yeah, no, and that's good. So I want to give a little bit of background though of why I know a little bit more about this. As a wedding planner, obviously I've had lots of experience with helping choose bartenders and, talk about alcohol selection at weddings and how that fits in with timeline and logistics and all of those things.
You have your own.
In 2020, I actually opened my own bar service. My headphones are falling off again.
Oh my gosh.
I have a real hard time.
We need to get you like...
Because I have a big head.
We need to get you different headphones. Maybe you should go to Best Buy and just try some headphones and then bring those. Or just leave them here. Just leave them here.
I don't know.
Or we can use the ear ones. You want the ear ones next time?
No, I don't know. I'm just being a princess.
Anyway.
So, I've been a wedding planner for about 11 years now, but in 2020, I actually started my own bar business. And just as like a little background, because I think it's kind of interesting, my bar business is called Bottle Service. So it's kind of, it's kind of a play off of my company, Pop the Champagne, right? Okay. Get it? Bottles? Yeah. And I actually started it
That's right up your alley.
Hey. See, you were waiting to use that one again. I actually started Bottle Service during the pandemic, which is kind of interesting because when we were planning weddings, they were often in backyards and homes. They were often very small. Yep. And we were trying to keep the number of vendors on site very low, right? So as a planner, like we were playing florist, we were playing catering, we were playing DJ, like just trying to do whatever we can to provide as many services as we could and make it easier for our clients and, all that. So it was kind of a natural progression where I was like, oh, I have a ton of bar experience, hospitality experience, planning, and why don't I provide the bartenders and why don't I provide the booze and why don't I, kind of figure this out? So it was kind of interesting that I started the business as like a pandemic time solution. And then since then, over the past couple of years, it's grown. And so we've really got to experience, the rebirth of the wedding industry and things getting really big again. Yeah. So we kind of saw the whole like roller coaster and learned a lot through the couple of years as a business. And it's really cool. So Bottle Service is our kind of niche is we are all, woman owned, obviously, and then all female bartenders. And we make everything from scratch, all of our simple syrups and everything is fresh, organic, fresh fruits, berries. So we have a little bit more of an like upscale craft cocktail type of vibe, which is great for some people and they're really into it. And some people don't need that kind of service. Sure. And they're just like, you'd be like, I don't know, let's just have some beer and wine for people. They can enjoy a drink, but I don't really care if it's like this very bougie mezcal-based Paloma. Like, I don't care. So there's something out there for everybody. And I think that is important to remember with all vendors, right? That we talk about like not every vendor is the right fit for you and for your wedding and what you're looking for.
Yeah. Are you hiring at all?
Only girls.
Can a black guy join in? Just a.
I literally just said we're all female bartenders.
Just a dash of testosterone.
I said that we're all female, and also you just admitted you know jack shit about alcohol. So this job interview is not going great for you so far.
But you love me though.
I do love you. You can be kind of a behind the scenes guy.
Okay, I can do that. I don't
know what that means, but
I'll make you content. Yeah. How about that? Let's do that. Okay.
Yeah, let's Stay in your lane, bro.
I'm not on payroll, but I'm a subcontracted.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Stay in your motherfucking lane.
I just want to be a part of the fun.
I know, and it really is fun. It really is fun. And for some weddings, the bar kind of is like the heart of the wedding. It's kind of where all the action happens. Cocktail hour. It's like lively. Like there's so much kind of fun to it. So it has been really fun for me as a planner to kind of see this different side of things and kind of get involved like on a more nitty gritty level. So I think we're going to speak more to people that are hiring a bar service, right? So some people's weddings, it's included with your package. It's included with your venue. It's included with catering. If that's the case, cool, right?
Yep.
You're probably making some decisions as to what type of drinks that you want to include, maybe what package, what shelf liquor is what they call it. So like top shelf liquor is like nicer, fancier brands.
So
now and it's going to be a little more expensive. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The hours that you're providing, kind of all those other things that we were talking about. But if you are somebody that is looking to hire a bar service because you either have to because it's not included or because you want something a little bit more elevated, I think there's some things to look at. Hiring professionals that know what they're doing is really, really important because there's a lot more logistics that go into it. I love logistics.
We love
my
logistics.
Favorite word, logistics. Than you might think. Like we'll have people be like, yeah, we just need 2 bartenders. And I'm like, you just need 2 bartenders. And who's going to provide all of the other things? I mean, our kits that we bring a truckload, literal truckload of stuff to every wedding. And we're not even talking about the alcohol, right? We're talking about ice chests and tubs. We're talking about the physical ice. Where is that coming from? All the tools.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen a planner tell an assistant, go run to the store. We need more ice. So I can vouch for bringing all of the ice.
The cups, the glassware, all the tools, right? And then we're talking about, so maybe you're going to provide the alcohol, but there's all the mixers, all the things. Do you want your bar service pouring out of like 2-liter bottles of Coke?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't care. And if that's the case, that's fine. We, only pour out of glass bottles. Everything, it looks really, really clean and really, really elevated.
Yeah. We want a premium service.
Right. We want to make sure our stuff looks really lovely. And then the products that we're serving are really high quality as well. Again, you might not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like pour me a cheap margarita and I'll call it a day.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that you're wanting to look for is like, how do they present the bar? What kinds of tools are they pouring out of?
Okay.
How experienced are the bartenders? Are they obviously certified and insured and all of those pieces to make sure that, maybe your venue requires that, but just really they should have all of those qualifications in case anything goes down. We should make sure that things are done proper.
Yeah, and I can see that being something important to just take a note of for the listeners of if they don't have the experience, maybe you don't care, right? Quote unquote, air quotes. You don't care.
Yeah.
But you will care when the line is packed
Yep.
or they don't know certain drinks. You don't want me to be your bartender. As of right now,
until you're
in
done
my
with training.
limited research and training, you wouldn't want me, as great as I am, you wouldn't want me to be the bartender because if someone asked me for, I don't know, just name a drink.
Well, how about a Paloma? No, you know that now. Actually, you still don't know. You drank it, but you don't know what it is.
It was delicious, and that's really about it. But, you wouldn't want me.
Yeah, you would have no idea. Yeah.
So I do think kind of like vetting, same concept of your DJ, your photographer, your planner, whoever it might be, is just make sure that maybe you don't necessarily care, because this is just my mindset is, on my wedding, for Steph and I didn't really care about the bar.
Yeah.
But I knew it was important, so I think it would have been good if I did ask those questions to make sure that the guests are having a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so good. I mean, have they worked at your venue before? Are they, familiar with all of that? I think one of the cool things that my company brings to the table is I'm an event planner, right? I know how to ask all the questions ahead of time. Like, let's talk about your timeline. Like, do you want to have the bar open pre-ceremony? How late do you want to serve? Do you want to do last call a little bit before last dance? You know, is there a champagne toast? Are you doing wine at dinner? All those kinds of questions, they should be asking you those questions. If they're just like, yeah, we'll show up and serve for 4 hours, like they should be.
Red flags.
Yeah, they should be digging a little bit deeper into those details.
Into the nitty gritty.
Into the nitty gritty.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, just like any vendor, vetting them a little bit, making sure the vibe matches is super important.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then I think whether or not you're hiring a bar service or you are, just getting it through your caterer or something like that, like drink selection can be a thing. And so we see a lot of people, want to do something special, like a signature cocktail is definitely the term that you see thrown around. And that's an opportunity for you to just pick something that you feel kind of represents you. Like, do you have a favorite drink that you order when you go to, your local neighborhood bar? Is there something that, like, you feel we're going to Brazil for our honeymoon. We're going to serve caipirinhas. Like, whatever it is, like, maybe there's something kind of fun. I just think it's like a cool opportunity for you to find something that represents you.
I have seen something funny is some couples that have like a pet that can't make it. Yeah. I have seen them, I don't know.
A pet that can't make it. Like you say, like usually pets can make it.
I mean, sometimes they walk down the aisle, they bring something, But anyway, if the dog or the cat or whoever it is unable to attend, sometimes I have seen, I'd say at least on 5 occasions where this signature cocktail is named after the pet.
Love that.
Just to like little dash of, hey, this is a little bit more of who we are today.
100%. And the signature cocktail doesn't have to be fancy either. Like I had a wedding where the brides, their signature cocktail was a White Claw and a shot of tequila.
Oh, sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I did another one in Long Beach where they served a beer with a cigarette on it because that was like what the groom liked. And they actually had a cigarette on the beer.
Shoot.
So it was like, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just something that like feels like you. And I think that that's kind of cool.
Okay.
And when you are thinking about like providing something a little bit more upscale and a little more elevated, maybe you love a craft cocktail. Maybe going to a fancy cocktail bar is like one of your favorite things to do as a couple, and you want to provide something really nice for your guests.
Yeah.
Remember that this is a wedding and that people are more interested in getting drinks fast into their system than having something that is like covered in smoke and, the fanciest garnishes.
I've seen those sick videos where it's like a 3-minute video for one drink. People are not probably doing that.
It's a 3-minute video for one drink because that's how long it takes to make that fucking drink. And it is beautiful when you order it at a restaurant and they have tons of staff and tons of time and it's not an issue. But like when Uncle needs a Jack and Coke, like
just get him his fucking
Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
And there are some bar services that might not agree with me. They think, the presentation and the experience is really important. And I think that that's true to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think there's a balance.
There's a balance. There's a balance. But speed and kind of catering to everyone, it's sort of like when we talked about DJs, right? Like, do you love underground hip hop? Cool. Your grandma might not, we should
There's
also
a time and place.
We should also provide for her too, and not just like only catering to your tastes.
Yeah. Like, no, that sounds good.
We want to do what the group,
and then
likes.
I mean, I guess too, just thinking about the potential of having those more elegant. If I really wanted it, I would say like, oh, on this bar we can do these cocktails, these specialty cocktails. But the 2 other bars that are just in the general vicinity, let's just crank those out of like quick little drinks. If you really want the specific one, you can go right over here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to do it. Or, hire more bartenders. Like, you want things to go faster, you're going to need more staff to do that. And that's okay.
2 is never enough. Yeah. The line is always fucking long.
Okay, that's
always.
Here's a couple hot tips on the cocktail hour situation. I have an opinion that the bar should be open to some extent pre-ceremony.
Okay.
And it's definitely non-traditional, but I think it really sets the tone when you walk into a wedding and there is tray pass champagne or beer and wine at least available at the bar or a signature cocktail as you walk in that's like fun.
True.
It's setting the tone for like, this is a celebration, bitches, right? Like, let's get going. And I have noticed also it takes the heat a little bit off of that cocktail hour rush of the bar.
Because they've had something.
They've had one sip of alcohol, or maybe they still have their drink. And it's not this like, people get like fucking crazy ass crackheads when they're like, they got to run to the bar and be the first one. And there's no way to combat that cocktail hour rush 100%. Like, it just is what it is. It's 100+ people trying to get a drink at the same time.
Yeah.
But that is a nice way that I think that you can kind of start the experience off really special and also take the heat off.
Yeah. Maybe it's
my
like a
tip.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that because I can't tell you how many times even being someone that doesn't drink and have shot many and many weddings now, where I have seen people they go up to the bartender they're setting the bar up, and they'll say like, oh, sorry, like we'll be open after the ceremony.
Yep.
But there's still people that would have easily grabbed a drink,
Yeah.
a handful of people.
And if you listen to our timeline episode, which obviously you have, we do talk about how probably there are guests arriving at least 30 minutes before they're sitting down to watch the ceremony.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, you should have water for them. You should have something. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to force my boozy ways on everybody.
Yeah. But something.
But do think about that. It's not like they're just walking in and sitting down. Like, they're probably, like, enjoying the space for a minute, taking some photos, starting to chat with people.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a nice way to do it.
That's good. Oh, yeah. I guess it doesn't have to. I mean, a bar obviously includes alcohol. But I was just thinking of, like, if you do want to do something pre-ceremony, too, and it's not necessarily alcohol.
Yeah.
Why don't you do
like an iced tea and lemonade station?
Yeah, or like a drink that you really like that just isn't alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I love Pog. You know what Pog is, right?
Yes, that was funny though.
Dude,
I didn't think you were going to say
I
that.
fucking love Pog. It is passion orange guava. That for people that don't, it is not pineapple orange guava.
I actually did think it was pineapple, so that's funny that you say that.
Passion orange guava.
Okay.
It's passion orange guava.
I like that. No, I have seen that as well before. It's like just something that they, you really like.
Yeah.
I had a couple recently actually that got married in Palm Springs, and they served Arnold Palmer's before because that was like her favorite drink.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Have you heard of a pomosa?
Is it a?
I created it.
Okay, well then we know it's not good. So continue.
It is Pog with champagne.
Oh, okay.
So instead of a mimosa,
yes,
it is a
pomosa. Pagosa.
No, just pomosa. Just call it a pomosa.
Okay, pomosa's cute.
It is good.
Okay.
It's actually really
well.
good.
What you make that for me next time?
Okay.
Why do I always
good.
be the bartender?
Because you are the bartender.
I want a pomosa.
I am not a bartender. You won't hire me.
I want a pomosa. There's also, we're going off on a real tangent here, but
okay.
I think you'd like this.
People love the tangents.
I think you'd like this, sweet boy, is shermosa, and you put sherbet in it. So the ice cream actually like melts in the champagne. Yeah, it's real good. And it gets kind of like almost creamy with the champagne.
Oh, yeah. That sounds really, what if you blended it too? Like
you don't want to blend anything that's carbonated.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I mean, you can.
It just sounded like a shake for a second.
Yes.
I was like, oh, no, that does
We
sound
do.
really
My
good.
bar service does make boozy snow cones.
Can you explain what a boozy snow cone is?
Like a shave ice.
Oh.
But we actually like hand make all the syrups and everything so that you have it with booze in it. And it's really good.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Good on a hot day.
Snow cones must have condensed milk though. But if it's not alcohol, if it has alcohol,
is that the difference between a snow cone and a shave ice?
No.
Shave ice doesn't have...
I think they're the same thing.
I don't think they have to have condensed milk.
But no, I'm just saying like you're in Hawaii,
you get
a shaved ice.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you're not lactose, and even if you are,
do it.
Get condensed milk.
Deal with the diarrhea.
Oh,
It will be worth it.
So freaking good. All right. Thank you for joining our tangent.
I mean, alcohol gets people going, it gets people inspired. It's a shared experience and it's cultural in a lot of ways. Japanese weddings have a barrel of sake, whatever you have, like probably in your family or culture, like there is some form of alcohol that's traditional. Mm-hmm. So that's another really cool way to sort of incorporate
Hennessy
things.
at Filipino weddings is like as absolute must.
That's true. At the table too.
Yes.
Like it's at the table.
Each table and at the bar. So yeah. The sake, there was a bride and groom that I shot at in Laguna Beach, but they did a toast. The bride and groom did a toast together. But some people weren't from Japan and some people were. So they did a toast together where the groom explained the importance
what it was.
Kanpai,
For sure.
So,
and that's such a
that
cool,
was awesome.
That's such a cool thing. Yeah. So it's about getting people lit.
Yeah.
But I think there can be deeper meanings and kind of like a part of all of it, which is really cool too. So I think the other kind of piece I wanted to touch on was there are a lot of people that are providing their own alcohol or their own bar.
Yeah.
Maybe you are having a backyard wedding and it's a little bit more like, I don't want to use the word budget. Yeah.
Just
like, just something that you're like DIYing a little bit more yourself. So I will link in the show notes. My favorite calculator. There's a lot of different online calculators of like how to figure out how much booze that you need to buy.
Oh, that's
and
really,
there's a lot
really
out
good.
there. And if you started to like put in the same information in all these different calculators, like they will give you wildly different numbers. So I don't believe in all of them, but there's one that we use for our own personal business as well.
Nice.
So we'll
Perfect.
link that in there.
Okay.
But they do a really, really good job. So
Do you
starting,
know what it's called?
it's on the Mobile Bev Pros website.
Mobile,
But I'll
Bev
have to.
Pro.
It's like a specific link.
Sure,
so
yeah.
I'll get
It'll be
it to everybody.
it'll be in the notes for anyone listening. Yeah, for sure. Or watching.
So buying the right amount of alcohol is obviously really important because you want to not run out, but you also don't want to spend an extra $1,000 on shit that's just like not going to get drank. And at least in the state of California, you typically cannot return alcohol. Like this is not, I mean, you can give away bottles of wine for Christmas until,
sure.
you know, whenever, but more than likely you don't want to spend more. So finding the right quantities is really important.
Okay. And is there, I was going back to the whole ice thing because I just see all these red flags of the weddings I've been at and they always run out of ice.
Yep.
Is there how do you gauge how much ice you need?
3 pounds per guest.
What?
3 pounds of guests per
ice?
It's a lot of
per
ice.
guest?
Yeah, that's why all those people are running out because they're not getting enough. If you're
3
having
pounds.
yes, because so we're talking about this is enough ice to actually serve in the cocktails. Plus, you're probably icing down stuff too, right? You're probably icing beers and stuff. And are you imagining just ingesting 3 pounds of ice? No, but you're not. But think about in a cocktail,
in the cup,
in the cup, you're not drinking all that ice.
Cold. Yeah. No, okay, that helps. I was literally like shoving 3 pounds of ice down my throat with alcohol.
Yes. No,
Okay.
this is no.
All right, sounds good.
That's the average is 3 pounds per ice per guest per ice
3
per
pounds
guest.
of ice per guest.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's for like a 5 or 6 hour wedding, which is pretty typical.
Okay.
3 glasses per guest or 3 cups is average. They're probably going to go through, you know, you'll have the one drink person that has 1 drink and you'll have one person that has 8, but that usually ends up being a pretty close average.
Yeah, for the people that aren't drinking at all or only have 1. Yeah.
Glassware is like a really big one I could go on for a whole episode about, but like, are you getting glass for the tables? Are you getting glass for the bar? Are you just doing plastic disposables for everything? That's fine. Are we doing wine glasses versus cocktail glasses? So there's kind of a lot to consider with the glassware thing. Again, a bar service should be able to help you with that and figure out exactly the quantities that you need. Garnishes, you know, the types of beer that you're bringing in. Does, you know, I can't have a Corona or a Modelo without a lime. So like, think about that, you know? But again, you can kind of keep some of it to a minimum. Think about what is really needed. Are you having a Jack and Coke vodka soda kind of bar, or are you doing something a little bit more elevated?
Yeah.
Usually we recommend 1 bartender for every 50 guests. That's what we do for our recommendations. And that can be, you know, zhuzhed depending on the needs for each event. But I think if you're kind of building your own bar, those are things to consider as well.
Okay.
The calculator also gives that we'll link also gives a pretty good estimate to like how many straws you'll need, how many napkins you'll need, how many limes and lemons you'll need, which is why I really, really like this calculator because most of them.
How many cherries you'll need?
How many cherries? 3 pounds per guest. No.
Smart and final, here I come.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of making sure that you are well stocked with all of that. But again, like if you're really piecing this together, I want you to think about like, are you going to buy ice chests and tubs or rent them? Like, do you have enough martini shakers to go around? Like, is this going to look tidy? Is this just going to be like a shit show? Like, there are so many pros to hiring a professional service to come in and just handle this for you.
Because the more that you're talking about it, the more I'm like, I wouldn't want to deal with any of that. I would just call bottle service and be like, here's the day, here's how many people. I want, I don't know, 2 signature cocktails and open bar. How much, you know, and just let you do you and then just pay the bill and be like, cool, I don't have to worry about it anymore.
You underestimate it. I mean, I've had a lot of clients as a planner who are like, it's fine. Like this, you know, service was in our budget and we're going to do all this and stuff. I'm like, great. But then think about like, how is this all even getting to the venue? More than likely all of that alcohol and stuff, like I said, is literally like a truckload of shit. Where are you storing it before? You're going to go to Costco and buy all this shit and then keep it in your parents' garage. And then how's it going to get there on the day? Like, There's a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
And this is coming from, we've kind of had a learning curve of providing it all, right? And now becoming like a really successful service. Like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, for sure.
So don't think that this is like a place to save or like a place to make it like easy. It can be difficult.
Yeah.
And think about your people too, right? Like, think about your guests. Again, we're catering to the group. So maybe beer and wine is enough. It's fine. I have no like problem with that. If people want to get fucked up, they'll still get fucked up on beer and wine. Like, it's not a problem. You're not
wine will sneak up on you too.
Yeah, you're not limiting, that. So yeah, I think that there's no right or wrong answers. I don't want to like make people, again, this is a place of zero judgment. Like, think about you, your guests, your family, and what is important to them at the end of the day.
Yeah. Question. How come, maybe it's just my body, but how come I feel like I get buzzed quicker with beer than I do with wine and like shots and hard liquor?
It could just be your body and the way that you process and metabolize alcohol. But my instinct is to say that you probably drink it faster.
The beer? Yeah, I do. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because I'm trying to get through it. In my brain, I'm like, oh, it's less alcohol content, so I need to drink it faster.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's refreshing. You're drinking, usually you kind of like chug a beer, like if you're sipping on something. And I think this is anecdotal, not a doctor of booze, but it does seem that things that are bubbly will end up getting you a little bit more like you feel a little bit buzzed. I don't know if it's not physically getting you actually probably drunker, but like people will be like, champagne goes right to your head, like more than wine. It's the same alcohol like percentage as wine, but like champagne does make you feel like a little woo,
So maybe
I think it's the bubbles.
The aeration.
Again, not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
I know my company's called Pop the Champagne, but
we just like it. We're not pros on what it does to the body, though.
Because I like to kind of go straight to your head, too, and make you feel a little bit high, baby.
There's a wrong button.
That's okay. I like it all. I like it all. But yeah, I mean, I think, there's a lot that goes into all of it, but I think it's a really fun, kind of cool part of wedding planning and something that you should, kind of consider. And if it's something that's important to you, I think it's a really fun place you can kind of display your personalities as a couple.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. And I think coming from someone that doesn't drink very often and didn't know about any of this, honestly, I wish I had known this when planning the wedding, because I know that there was going to be a group of people that just didn't care to drink.
Yeah.
But I also knew there was definitely going to be a crowd that wanted to drink.
Right.
And so if they want to drink and they're missing out on that, it's kind of killing the guest experience for the wedding. I
really like that, because we talk about that a lot, right? Like, how do you make people feel special and taken care of too, right? Like, what a cool thing to be like, oh my God, this is so nice that they provided this.
Yeah.
And like for me, I would rather go to a wedding and have like a really killer cocktail selection and eat like fucking tacos. Like, I don't care. I don't need steak. I would prefer a nice drink. So, I mean, again, different for everybody, but I think that's good.
And I think even how you budget in general, which go back to our budgeting, a fucking episode. But I do think for some people, it could be more important for the bar and music than it is. Yeah. They probably couldn't care less where you got married either.
Yeah.
So like if you
prioritizing, you have to prioritize. Yeah, so where does this fit among all the things? For some couples, it is very high on the list. Yeah. And for some, it's not.
Yeah. So. Like some people just want the ambiance and they don't really care for the drink. And then sometimes they'll want both. Sometimes they'll want the alcohol and a great bottle and party scene, and they don't care necessarily where it's at. So that could even play into where you're going to have your wedding at, If you go less on the venue, that means you either just save more money, but you could also now invest more in other different areas, in other vendors specifically. So
totally. I think it's
all
good.
That going back to the
budget
guest experience.
Yeah, and the budget episode where we talk about think about all of this stuff early, right? Think about all of it. Like if the venue selection is going to directly affect the catering or the alcohol or whatever, like it really is all connected. Look at us tying it back.
I know. No, but it's really coming together now, because I'm so used to just focusing on photo video experience and that's about it. But no, it's been super helpful for me
Well,
even
good.
though I'm not
I
getting
can't wait
married
till your
again.
next wedding.
See, even though I'm not getting married
I think
again.
what I'm really hearing is that I'm really helpful to you, and you're
You
really happy to have
are.
me in your life,
Yes,
Kyle.
100%. No fucking doubt,
Cheers
Allie.
to that.
Cheers. Well, thank you for joining in and listening.
And see you next Tuesday.
Peace.